All right, hello everybody. This is Coach Steven with Woolery Strength Systems, and we're going to be talking about my dynamic effort upper body day for Tuesday, September 9th, 2025. And we will be talking about, I just said that, my bad. We're going to go through our workout real quick. We had banded pull aparts, banded overhead tricep extensions, med ball chest pass. That was all kind of our warm up, not really a circuit, but circuit kind of thing. Just kind of an activation, if you will. Then we immediately went into some fat grip speed bench versus bands with a 3-second eccentric. Then we went into some half tries, which we'll get into that. Meadows rows, chest supported T raise, and then a plate pinch for some forearms and grip strength type of thing. Now, I will say, as we get into this, was not a huge fan of the fat grips in the bar. I have very tiny hands when it comes to doing things like that, so I just didn't think I was able to really press into the bar like I wanted to. So we can kind of see how that we'll kind of see how that goes. I also did not record the banded warm up stuff. We've probably all seen me do that 1,000 times, so figured it would be a little unnecessary. But we will go ahead and watch these med ball slams. Again, I'm just doing them right to the ground just for simplicity's sake, but I'm still trying to act like I'm literally throwing it through the floor is kind of the cue I'm giving myself. And I feel like I was moving them pretty dang quick. I should probably maybe do those up against the wall next time just to kind of have gravity not as much in my favor. I don't really know how important that is, but for this specific thing right here, but no one complained to me that I was doing it this way. But anyway, so as we first see, I actually had to drop down in weight because the speeds were not very good. When I did my first 3 sets, I thought I would kind of I'm going to use the word potentiate my body because I did that last week where I was moving slower, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere I was just being snappy with it. But I never could quite get that. These first 3 sets, I was really in the if I'm remembering correctly, if for the 3 reps it would be something like 7-1, and then it'd go 7-6-4, and then a couple of them were like 5-8s, and they were 0.58, I guess, 0.5, 0.64, 0.71. That was very really ugly drawing, but besides the fact there. So anyway, I decided to move down to 105, and some of those were more like 0.83s here and there, 0.71 or 0.78s, and rarely was dropping into the 0.6s, but if they did, it was more like 6-8s or a little bit heavier or a little bit faster. So it was a little bit happier. So anyway, we'll go into these. We'll watch one at 115 and just kind of show the speed difference. So yeah, let's check it out. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so not too bad on the first rep. Not too bad on the second. Again, this is the first set, so yeah, and then we kind of slowed down there. You see the slower spark right through that mid-range, and then the lockout obviously was pretty quick, not being super heavy. But let's go to the third set when we're still at 115, and then we can kind of compare to what this felt like versus the first the first sets at 105. Again, still I'm just trying it to be a little bit snappier. I wanted to be a little higher than the 0.6 that I've been shooting for because a lot of my pressing, like last week, it was going really fast, and I wanted to kind of keep that up. So again, yeah, I went down to 105 here. So this was the first set there. I'm also was a lot more worried about actually hitting that eccentric portion this week, but as you can see, that was a lot faster. Again, that was the first rep, but I believe that all 3 of these reps were moving a lot better than the that third rep there was not super quick, but I believe most of these reps were just moving a lot better. We'll skip towards the end where fatigue's probably setting in just a little bit. Back it up a little bit. 2, 3. Good. 2, 3. Good. And I do feel like I had pretty good bar path and things like that this week, which I was happy with. My elbow did seem to kind of do something a little bit flary-ish right there towards the end. But overall, these felt pretty good. I think the main reasoning behind me pushing a little slower this week was there's a few different reasons that I am kind of thinking possibly. One, yesterday was a very high CNS day with the max effort squats, and I pushed it pretty well up, pretty good on those. So that could be a factor. 2 of the fat grips, just my little hands just didn't like not being able to wrap around and act like I can really drive force through the bar, which could be a factor, like I said. And then this week, I think I'm doing a little bit better on actually hitting those eccentric 2, 3. Yeah, a little actually hitting those eccentrics a little bit better. Last week, it was kind of just, I'm just going to move this bar as fast as possible, no matter how it is going to require me to do that. So, and I don't think, if I hit history here, it's not going to look back on anything because we're not on that same exercise. Here is, so I'm actually going to show you the one I did with mini bands. By the time I switched to mini bands, this was the second set. These reps right here are incorrect. I'm not going to lie. These destroy my triceps. I don't even think I finished a full set today fully. But I did the skull crushers right here. I don't remember, I'm telling you, these are tough. And I definitely recommend hitting these at some point. So basically all it is 8 skull crushers, 8 JM press, and then 8 close grip bench. And these are just, the skull crushers, you can kind of get through those. It's pretty cool. It's hard. But then you get to the JM press and you're like, okay, this is a little bit, this is difficult. And then you get to go to the close grip. It just destroys you. And here I think I fail on, as you can see, that moved really slow. I think I fail here, maybe on this rep. Yeah, I just failed. And I just chill for a second because I'm like, there's just no way. So then I just start repping out close grip. And even these, you'll see here in just a second, start to really slow down. And I'm not even actually getting them blocked out, which I'm not very happy with because that's kind of the whole point with bands and things like that, is hoping that lockout strength, or at least that's to a point of some of it. Hopefully you can't hear that alarm in the background. I apologize if you can. But anyway, those are the Hoff tries. Then we go into the Meadows rows. These might look a little silly for these first ones. I'm not normally a split stance rower, but I was yelled at the other day that I need to start not having a bodybuilding stance. So next time, I didn't actually record any more sets, so I switched there a little bit, but I'm just trying to find my balance. And eventually, I asked Cameron right there, who was standing back there. I stopped being an idiot. I kind of widened my feet out a little bit more, and I actually went and braced my arm on my elbow. You'll probably see it next week. But I think here on this left side, I just was not feeling the split stance at all, and I was complaining. So we're gonna just, I ended up just going here to finish the set because I didn't like how it felt. But I ended up doing the next couple sets, and I don't know why it says 2 sets. We did 3. I ended up doing the next 2 sets, plank down on my forearm on my elbow, split stance with a little bit wider on the stance, and it felt pretty good after that. Was able to actually move some better weight. Then we have chest supported T-raise. Nothing crazy here. Just laying on the bench, going out to the side, getting up high as possible, working that upper back, which is solid. Again, not going to waste too much time for that. And then we had our plate pitches, which I think, I can't actually remember how long I actually went. It was about 40 seconds or so. 15. Pretty simple here, just holding it. Started at 15. And smashed my foot on that one. It looks like I dropped it at about 101, so about 45 seconds, and I put that down, so I was actually correct on that, which is nice. But a little inathletic there at the end there, but that's okay. Now we are going into the metric portion. Typically about a 3. There's just those half tries. If anything, it would have been like a 2, but the triceps just are destroyed. Like even this morning is when I'm recording this the next day. I did not didn't find time yesterday to get this recorded, but then the duration 60, fatigue 2. But like I was saying, my triceps from these half tries, they're not as bad as last week. But last week, my triceps were sore for till about Thursday, honestly, and I was a little worried about the max effort bench press that week, but ended up being okay and not quite as sore this week as I was last week. So I'm happy about that. So anyway, that has been the Dynamic Effort Upper Body Day for September 9th, 2025. Thank you for watching, and leave a comment and subscribe if you would. Thanks.